Hello everyone, welcome to my Make It Monday. I am Lisa Fulford, your creative coach, and I have these little projects here that I think are very fun, and hopefully you will like them. And I want to thank you for being here, and we will get started with the supplies that it takes to make these. We're going to bring in the embossing folder. It's a hybrid, but we're just going to use the embossing folder, and it's changing leaves. And we are also bringing in another embossing folder, and this is a distressed tile. Our colors tonight are Daffodil Delight, Cajun Craze, Lost Lagoon, and Pretty Peacock. And we are going to use a stamp set. Everybody's using the new things, and I am bringing in something new, but I'm going to show a little bit of love to the autumn leaves and the die cuts that go along with that. Oh, that's the wrong ones. Oh, I don't know where I set them, but anyway, the ones that we're going to use are these two small maple leaves and then this larger one here. So the larger one is going to go on here and the smaller ones are going to go here. And so that's what we're going to be using. I'll put these things off to the side. And then the stamps that we're going to use is I'm Thankful. And then this one here is Autumn Teaches Us That Change Can Be Beautiful. And then our veining and our main background distinctive stamp. So we will get started. I think we will do this one first, and then we'll do that one afterwards. Let me bring in the bits and pieces here. And we have a thick piece of basic white, and it is 11 inches by 4 1/4, and I scored it at 5 1/2. So I'm going to go ahead and fold that, and it's taking up my real estate on my desktop here, so I'll put that off to the side. And then I have some pieces here. This is Lost Lagoon, and then we have Cajun Craze and Daffodil. Not Daffodil, that I think is it is Daffodil. It's either Daffodil or Crushed Curry. Now I can't remember because I made these kits up a few days ago. So, but let's see. Let me look. It's Daffodil, because that was Crushed Curry that I pulled. I made another card with Crushed Curry the other day too. All right, so we're gonna bring in that. It's like a 3D embossing folder, and like I said, it's the changing leaves. And we are also going to use the linen thread, and I hope it's not unavailable. I think it's on low inventory. And then this is the center striped ribbon, and it's the pecan pie. We're going to use that. So I'm going to set this off to the side for now and put these up here. Put the card over here. I think you can still see it. We're going to emboss this. So to start out with, you want to line up your paper with that black stripe where it says Stampin' Up. So you just want to line that up with that. It just makes it where it gives me a starting point. And then I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine here. I'll try to do it sideways so that maybe you can see what I'm doing. And we need to bring in plate 1. And if you don't know what type of a sandwich to make, on your thick plate number 1, it gives the instructions on which item that you're doing on how to load it up. And so I think that's really neat, but so many people have said, I don't know how to put, when to use what pieces, but the instructions are right here. And it says place die cutting edge down, and then insert embossing folders, hinge first. So it's a really nice resource. So don't forget that that's there. And you always want to put that hinge first so that we don't bust them. Then it takes plate number 4. So we're going to push that till my handle starts spinning. And then we're going to crank that through. And I'm sorry that it shakes the camera a little bit, but it makes such a, whoops, sorry about that. Makes such a pretty embossed item. So okay, move this out of the way. Knocking things off. When you take this out, it is gorgeous. Isn't that so pretty? And it's really deep. I don't know if the camera can do it justice, but in person it is so deep. So nice. I love that. All right, so now we're going to do a little stamping and get that done. And I don't know if anybody else is having issues, but my Daffodil Delight ink pad fell apart and it has all this ink in here. And so I put our liquid glue underneath it. This whole pad came off. I put liquid glue underneath of it and stuck it back down and pressed on it. But this ink, I'm wasting so much ink, and I really wish that, I don't know how to not, but there we go. But anyway, I think I'll get a tissue and dab some of that up. So it's like puddling in here. There. That makes me feel better that it won't look quite so messy. I didn't wipe it all away because I don't want to waste it. All right. So what we need to do is bring in a little piece of scratch paper. So I have that here. I'll set this off over here to the side underneath our card like that. This one here is open, so I'm trying to close it. All right, so we're going to take the distinctive stamp and we're going to ink that up nicely. We're going to stamp off, and then we are going to do second generation stamping right on the Daffodil Delight. And then remove, and it's super light, but you can see it. And then I'm going to set this off to the side for now. We'll clean it and use it on the next one. We're going to bring in that veining. I'm just going to ink that up. And then we're going to come, whoops, on here, and we're going to try to line it up the best we can. Better put on the paper because it doesn't stay on. And I mean, as long as you get it close, I didn't do too bad. And so now you can see it, and it makes that background pop a little bit more. So then I have my chamois here, and I've got it in one of these cases, and that's an extra gum case. And then I'm going to clean this up. And it doesn't matter as much going from the Daffodil Delight to the Cajun Craze, but if you did your Cajun Craze first, you would definitely want to clean it really well. And even though we were cleaning it, because I had my in-person class today, but even though we were cleaning it well, it still transferred some of the Cajun Craze onto my ink pad here. So we're finished with this one for right now. I'll move that off to the side, and we're going to grab this Cajun Craze and bring this in. And we're going to do the same steps. We're going to ink it up in Cajun Craze. Okay, we're going to stamp off and then stamp right onto this piece of Cajun Craze. And these are just scrap pieces. So that's a little darker than what that was, but it's still lighter. And so then we're going to ink up this veining. This one's going to be a little bit easier to line up because I can see it better, where on the other one it was a little harder. And so this is this one was second generation. This one is full strength. See how pretty that is? This one here, you can see it too now. All right, so close this up. And I forgot to tell you that this was Lost Lagoon cardstock, and it was, let's see, 5, I think, inches by 3 7/8. So let me double check that with the actual ruler. I've got a thing on my desk that I was trying to look. 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. So yes, I was a little bit off on that. So I'm glad I checked. So this one here, I'm going to try to get as much of that ink off so it doesn't end up all in my chamois. When you can wipe as much off, then that's what you should do. And I like having this little piece of a chamois instead of the big piece, because then I can grab it and get into those little grooves. Clean that. I think we are finished with those. I don't think they're on the next card. So now then, we're gonna, my fingers are yellow. We're going to bring in the mini Stampin' emboss machine, just because it takes up less space. And then we're going to bring in our plates. We need plate number 1, and then we need 2 of plate number 2s. So I'm going to put that plate down, and I'm going to grab a piece of mint tape. Right there. All right, so we're going to take this larger maple leaf, and we're going to line that up with our leaf on our paper, kind of like that. And then we'll stick that down, make certain it's on the cutting plate. Put the next one down, and we're going to crank it through. Doing it sideways is a little bit harder than doing it straight forward, but that's all right. We'll get rid of it. There we go. It doesn't shake, hopefully, as much using the smaller one. So we pop that out. And then try to bring that tape off. This is a low tack tape. It's like a post-it tape. Isn't that really pretty? So pretty. Then we're going to put this down. And you want to put it as an E. So you want the second one a little bit back from the white one. So plate number 2 a little bit back. Then plate number 1. We're going to line this one up again, just like we did the Cajun Craze. This one's a little bit more difficult because it's harder to see the distinctive, but it'll be fine. Stick that there. Put our number 2 on, and you want to get even with the white one, the number 1. And we're going to crank this through. out of the way. Grab this piece. All right. Loosen this up, and you want to do this gently so that you don't tear anything. And then here we have our Daffodil Delight one. That's nice, like that. So we are going to add these bits and pieces together. So we want to take this one and use glue. If you use the liquid glue, this is quite dramatic, and so a tape runner might hold it, but I'm using liquid glue. I'm trying to cover nice spots of it so that it'll hold well. But I don't want to do too much because I don't want it squishing out. And then you can decide which way you want it to go, and then line it up where you've got equal borders at the top and at the bottom. And then press it down. And I'm holding it for a moment because it's like I said, it's a dynamic one. So, oh, we need this little piece here. We need to close that up. And I have this cute little pumpkin that I hold, that holds my glue. He makes me happy. All right, so we're going to bring in our Lost Lagoon for this. And those words, I am thankful. I'm going to ink this up. And bring this in. And I'm going to go down towards the end, but not all the way because I want to flag that in. But I also want room on this side to put my linen thread. That looks pretty good. I'm going to clean that stamp. If I clean as I go, I'm less likely to forget and use that into a lighter color and then ruin my... I know you can take a spoon and get the majority of it out, but it's still... you still have to work with it. So I'm really close to the end, but I did leave myself a little bit of air space, and then there's more space down here. So I'm going to take and just right up the middle, just clip it, and then go from corner to the top of that clip, and from the corner to the top of that clip, and that flags that end. And then we're going to take the linen thread. We might as well get this. I don't know, it might, you might need 8 or 10 inches of it. I'm not going to measure it. I'm just going to show you how I do it. I'm going to take this on the little bolt here, and I'm going to put a little tail here on the front. So I'm just going to let that hang off, and then I'm going to wrap it around a few times. Okay. I'm going to trim that off right there. Set this down. And then I'm going to tie this in a bow if I can. If not, it'll be a knot. Okay. Through there like I'm all thumbs. All right, so you can hold the knot in the center of the bow and pull the tails, and it does not undo your bow. It's a little trick that I've learned. Okay, so I'll keep it like that, and then we're going to start putting things together. We're going to take the Daffodil Delight, and we're going to add glue to the back of this. And I'm going to add a generous amount, but not close to the edge. I hope that makes sense. But see how I'm not real close to the edge, but in the center, I'm putting a generous amount because, like I said, this is a dynamic embossing folder. So you want to hold that a moment so it can adhere well. Then I want to decide where I'm going to put this. So kind of like that maybe. So I know I'm going to put in dimensionals on probably 3 or 4 places here. I don't want them too close to the edge because this kind of falls off there. And if you put it too close to the edge, it'll mess up that one edge there. I think 3 ought to be enough. I like to put lots of dimensionals just so I know that it's going to hold. I think we'll be fine. All right, so I'm going to take that, and I decided I kind of wanted it like this. You don't want to go off your page here. And so I'm just going to pop that on like that. Then I'm going to bring this in. We're going to add some dimensionals to this. I love when you get a brand new sheet of the dimensionals. They are so cost effective to purchase, and I go through them like crazy. Okay, so down here I'm going to add glue to my linen because it's going to, this is raised up and we're going to overlap that. So I just want to add glue. I don't want a dimensional down there. Take those backings off, flip this over, and I want to come over to about the edge of my Lost Lagoon, and like that. I just take my little snips and cut the linen thread. There we go. The other thing that I did was take this and lay it here, and then my spritzer that's got the alcohol and the Wink of Stella in it, and I'm just going to do some spritzing, and it makes it so shimmery. And then this overspray here, take a tissue and clean that up because it's on my workstation. There's glitter everywhere. All right, so I don't know, it's still a little wet, but see all the little diamonds shimmer on there? It's really pretty. This one I didn't put it quite as heavy, but this one here, because it's not dry yet. Let's see if I get, yeah, see all that shimmer on there? Isn't it gorgeous? I absolutely love it, so I hope you do too. So that is our first project for Make It Monday. And then we are going to do the next card. So I'll move this off to the side for a moment. I'll bring it back in. Hopefully I'll remember at the end. And we're going to do a different embossing folder. This is the card that we're making for that. So I'll get all the bits and pieces out of my envelope here. Whoops, there's one still in there. Come on. Stuck there. There's that. And this is Pretty Peacock. So it's right over here. And it is the 4 1/4 by 11 also, and it's scored at 5 1/2. I decided for the class to do them all. The card base is the same, so we'll set that off to the side. And then this is a piece that is just a step down. I can't find, oh, there it is. Let's see. It is 4 1/8 by, let's see, 5 3/8. I think that that's the line it's on. I'm having a hard time seeing it. I think it's 5 3/8. All right. And then I'm going to take these and I'm going to set them off here to the side for now. And we're going to go ahead and get this embossed. I'm going to clean up my area here just a moment so that I can do this. I'm going to try to line up with that line again just because I end up getting a pretty good impression. Open this up again. We're going to do our sandwich. That is the number 1. The embossing folder with the hinge going first. And then our number 4 plate. Get that started. Start cranking that. Right there. I'm trying to get where it doesn't fling as bad. Get some of this ink off my fingers. All right, so then now we have this, and it's a distress, so it doesn't do all of it, but it's like that in the embossing folder. So there's nothing wrong with your image if it comes out like that, because that's the way it's supposed to be. Then we're going to do just a bit of stamping here. And then I also need to see where I put have this distressed oxide, or let's see, it's oxide. Let's see, oxide copper. That's what it's like. Could not remember that earlier today either. I always try to make my Make It Monday what I do in my in-person class for my Mondays. And so this has the pretty peacock in it, where this one does not. It's just the copper. And so we're going to use that to cut our leaves. And then we're going to do a little bit of stamping. We're going to bring in our Autumn Teaches Us That Change Can Be Beautiful and our pretty peacock ink. We want to ink that up. We're going to come off here to the side, so the right side over here, and we want to leave about a half a finger's width maybe. Like that. Clean my stamp. Alright, so the inking is done. All the stamping. We'll move that out of the way so we don't have a risk of getting dirty. So I'm going to flip this over. And I'm going to put a little bead of glue going down. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to flip it over also and then line it up with my edge. Glue it down. Flip it over so I can see that it, yep, see it was going uphill, so I'm going to just straighten that up. You can do a little or a lot. And then we'll trim these off in the end. Then we're going to do a little bit of glue here. A little bit goes a long way. Then we're going to line this up at the edge. Whoops, I know that one's crooked now. Like that. I'm going to flip it over. And it's pretty much equal. So I'm going to let that adhere for a moment. And we're going to flip it over and we're going to go along this cardstock and cut those little bits of that oxide copper paper away. press that down, let that be for a moment. And then we're going to add this to our card front. And I use dimensionals. You can glue it if you want, or you can do dimensional. I like that it's the same color as the base, but it's got some texture to it. So I like to pop it up just a little bit, like that. I'll grab my take your pick tool. Pop off these little papers. Sometimes I can get this little technique to work, and sometimes I can't. It just depends on how my day is going. I'm going to put this up here so that the distressed is at the top. I want to try my best to line it up. And if you have trouble lining things up, if you turn it sideways, you get more of an image of how much space you have here. And then you can look at the sides. So it's just a different perspective, so that maybe it can help. All right, so now then, for this, I find it best, and it was a little confusing today, and I didn't mean for it to be, but so I'll take, so they have enough, grab my ribbon scissors. Okay, so I know that'll be enough. I'm going to add dimensionals to the back. I'm going to overlap this two edges here. And I'm not clear at the end, but I'm not in the middle either. Do this end the same way. And then right here in the center, I'm going to add this dimensional. Take the backings off ahead of time. Oh, I take your pick tools right there, and I didn't use it this time. I get started and I forget about those types of things. So I'm going to put this piece of ribbon between my dimensionals. Okay, then I'm going to flip this over and try to line up along those edges. Try to get as straight as I can. I'm not pressing hard so that if I need to move it, I can. Okay, now I'm going to press. And then your ribbon will be free to move. And then I'm going to come over by the dimensionals, crisscross, tie it in a knot. Like that. Then I'll grab those ribbon scissors again. I'm just going to trim this down just a little bit. Now you can fray the ends if you want. I did not want that. But you're more than welcome to do it however you want. All right, so this is the majority of our card. We need to add our leaves to it, but we're going to go ahead and add our inside piece. And this is a 3.5 by 5, and by cutting it to that shape, you get 5 out of a sheet of paper with a couple pieces to use for sentiments and things. So sit this in here best that I can to make it even so that the sides are even, and then that top and bottom are even, or at least close. So there's that. And I'll set this over here off to the side for a minute. And now we're going to bring in the mini cut and emboss machine. This, we're going to put plate number 1 and number 2. And just a little note, if you have a die that will not go through and it just spins and spins and spins, and it won't take it, you need it number one, you need to have it in the E shape. So you need the bottom one extended, the middle one back this way, your paper, your die, and then this top piece even with that white. But if it still won't take it and it just spins, if you swap out the number one for the number 4, sometimes you can get it to go through there because that gray one is thinner than the number 1. But with these dies, it won't even do anything. It won't cut anything. So we're going to put number 1 down. Number 2, I'm going to put our paper in here. And this is like 1.5 inch. And so, I mean, I just made it a strip because I like this paper and I want to be able to use it as much as I can so I can conserve. So I'm going to put that there together. I'm not going to tape it down because I think it'll hold. And then I'm going to put my other plate in, kind of lining up with that one. I just shifted that bottom plate. I think it'll work. Run this through. Come back. Just so it's easier to get it out of the machine. Not because you have to run it 2 ways. Pop this up. They were getting so stuck on this plate earlier. I don't know what it is. They cut quite. I don't want to bend there. I don't want to bend my die, but it gets really dug in there. So you poke the take your pick tool in these little holes, and that releases your leaves. That. All right, so then we're going to do that again. Number 1, number 2, our paper. We're going to put our leaf down. Put our next leaf down. Make sure it's on the paper. Put our next plate down. Run that through. Once I get past that die, I just come back just because I don't want to run into things on my desk. But like I said, you don't have to do that. I just do it for my convenience so that I don't make a mess. There, maybe if I do it with the paper. Yes, that was easier, leaving the paper on there and then popping it off. So I'll move this out of the way. I think we're finished with all that. Now, for the cards we made today, I just had them do 3 leaves for the front. But I've got 4 here, so I'm going to use it to decorate the inside. There we go. And these over here. Bring this in. So for one of them, we're going to pop it up. So I'm going to grab my dimensional again. And one ought to do it. I mean, it's a small leaf. But if you want 2 or 3 mini ones, that's great. That's great too. There we go. We're going to slide this down just a little bit because it's not glued down anywhere. I can slide it if I need to. Then I'll bring my autumn leaf in here. And I'm going to kind of have it where the words are kind of going around the leaf. So like that. I can bring this down just a little bit more. There we go. And these we're going to glue down. And these do have little slits in them. So let me show you what I mean. So like, see how that will go through there? These veinings are actual slits in the DSP. So I'm going to add glue to these, kind of staying away from that slit a little bit. Then I'm going to take this one and lean it that way. Hold that down for a moment longer. I'll do the same with this one. Just add glue to those solid areas. And then I'm going to put this one upside down like a leaf that's fluttering. And they fall. And because I ran it through and got 2 each time, I'm going to open this up. I'm going to add it to the inside. We did not do that today, but I thought, well, instead of having this leaf floating around here, I'm just going to stick it down here. There we go. That is our second one. See, I didn't put one in here. So there we go. And if you would want this card kit for the two cards that we just, there's something on my desk, that we just made, I'll leave it. If you want the kit for this card and for this one, if you place an order in my my online store at www.creativecoachlisa.stampinup.net and spend at least $35 before tax and shipping, then I will mail the kit out for both of these cards as a thank you for your order. So if you want to get this kit for free, then place an order with me for $35 and I will mail those out to you. Now, it might be a little later because I am going to be busy for the rest of the week, but then when I get back, then I can mail those out to you. I will post the host code in the description below because I forgot to make the little banner to put on the screen, but I will post that host code at in the description, and if you use that host code, that lets me know that you are interested in this this kit. So it will come with, I can die cut the pieces. I can die cut your leaves. I cannot do any stamping, but all the bits and pieces that we had, I will die cut all those for you. I'll die cut these, and then if you happen to have the stamp set, you can do the stamping right onto the leaf. I will give you the pieces for your sentiment. I'll give you these little extra pieces, and I'll give you the ribbon, all the things that it takes to put these cards together. But anything that's stamping that goes against Stampin' Up's policies, we can't do any of the stamping and send those images to you, but we can do all the bits and pieces and give you a card kit. So I look forward to sending these out to you guys. So thank you so much for joining me for my Make It Monday. And I'm so glad that you tuned in. And if you like what you see here, then I would encourage you to look at my other playlists. I have Technique Tuesdays and Mystery Stamping Hour. And then I'm also working on some boxes and treat bags and different things for my Halloween. And so I'm a little off on my countdown on the weeks. I got a little late start on that, and then I need to post some more of those. I'll try to get those out soon, but I do plan on doing the 12 weeks of Halloween countdown, and I do have a couple of them already up on my YouTube channel. So like I said before, thank you so much for joining me, and it is always a pleasure to bring these types of cards to all of you. And if you would, please give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment on what you think of this, or what you think would be, that I could have done differently. I love constructive ideas and different things. I don't take regular criticisms, I guess, so well, but I mean, that's how you learn. So I guess if you just didn't like it, or you didn't like me, and you want to tell me that, then you go right ahead. But anyway, if you could leave me a comment, that would be awesome. And if you would like this video, that'd be great. And if this is your first time here, you might consider subscribing, and that way you'll be notified to any of my future videos. And so I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and happy stamping. Bye-bye.